You feel the heat rising behind your eyes, a wildfire of indignation stoked by betrayals small and large, the countless times the world shrugged off your worth. You have learned to smother that flame, to whisper apologies before your fury can speak, to bury the ache beneath forced calm. But rage is not a poison to purge. It is a raw signal, a clarion call that tells you where your boundaries have been violated, where your passion still burns. Today you will step into that blaze, not to be consumed, but to shape its energy into a revelation that illuminates your truth. You close your eyes and let the embers glow in the cavern of your mind. You sense the first spark, an insult you swallowed, a slight you ignored, a promise broken by another's carelessness. You follow the heat down to the scorching wellspring within your chest. It cracks open the plaster of restraint, and suddenly you feel alive in ways numbness never permitted. You breathe in the scent of iron and thunder, knowing this is the fuel of your becoming. You open your eyes and stand, shoulders squared, as though greeting a long-lost ally. You feel the fire flicker in your throat. You let it rise into a single guttural word, enough, and you do not soften it. You speak it into the mirror of your soul, and it echoes back, reverberating against every wall of your self-doubt. This one word cracks the surface of your conformity and sets the pattern for every act that follows. You step into your day with that ember pulsing in your veins. You let it guide the small decisions, the way you hold your gaze when someone interrupts you, the firmness of your no when tasks exceed your limits, the honesty you offer when flattery feels deceitful. Each choice fans the flame, turning the flicker of anger into a steady glow of conviction. You channel your rage into creative defiance. You open your journal and allow the raw roar of your heart to pour onto the page. No filters, no restraint, no apology. You feel the pen dance across paper like embers scattering sparks. What begins as a dark swirl of resentment slowly organizes into clear lines of insight. What you will not tolerate, the values you will uphold, the person you refuse to become again. You carry that fierce mapping into your conversations. When a colleague speaks over you, you lean in and say, "Let me finish." When an old friend betrays you, you name the wound, "I trusted you and you let me down." You do so not to punish, but to claim your own sovereignty. In naming the wrong, you free yourself from its invisible grip. Your voice carries the heat of authenticity, unignorable, unbowed. You encounter true resistance. A partner grows defensive at your candor. A boss recoils at your bold boundary. You brace as the walls of their discomfort close in, yet you hold the line. You do not retreat into politesse or self-doubt. You remind yourself, the furnace of revelation requires unflinching resolve. Your anger is not a brute force to wield, but a tool to carve space for your truth. You learn to temper the flame with clarity. You step away from the heat when it threatens to scorch indiscriminately, lifting your hand from the forge, taking a breath, letting the glow steady. You ask yourself, what is this fire trying to teach me? You listen for the lesson beneath the roar, that you deserve respect, that your needs matter, that your boundaries are sacred. You translate those lessons into manifest actions, terminating toxic interactions, dedicating time to what nourishes your spirit, speaking up for those whose voices have been lost in the smoke. You gather your revelations and weave them into your work. You propose ideas that challenge the status quo. You launch projects infused with the passion you once feared would burn bridges. You discover that when you lead with the energy of your rage converted into purpose, you ignite others' courage as well. Your fire becomes a beacon, guiding those who have been dimmed by complacency. You cultivate a ritual to renew this transformation. Each week, you return to the forge of your inner realm, through journaling, spirited debate, intense physical exertion, or any craft that demands honest expression. You allow the heat to rise, to surface hidden frustrations, and then you channel it into new creations, An essay, a painting, a gesture of solidarity, a breakthrough conversation. With each cycle, you become more adept at converting raw anger into enlightening force. You will face days when the ember cools, when fear tiptoes back and you find yourself appeasing old patterns. You recognize those days as the smoke before reignition. You bring your hand to your chest and whisper, "Remember the heat." You kindle the flame with a mantra, "My anger uplifts me," and you feel the warmth rekindle, radiating through your sinews. You stand at the horizon of your life, the sky stained by the glow of countless fires you have tended. You see the silhouette of your former self, a figure shrouded in hesitation, eyes dim with avoidance. You look at them with compassion, knowing they protected you from reckless conflagration. You reach out your hand and merge your histories into one continuous flame, honoring both the caution and the courage that shaped your journey. You understand now that revelation does not lie in denial of your rage nor in surrender to its blind wrath, but in the alchemy you perform, turning volatile emotions into dynamic purpose. You have become the smith of your own soul, forging your resolve in the crucible of indignation and carving meaning from the heat of your truth. You lift your face to the wind and feel the ember blaze brighter still. You speak into the expanse, "I am the revelation my rage demanded." The echo carries your declaration beyond these walls, transforming the roar in your chest into an anthem for every soul standing at the threshold of their own fire.